Okay, don't freak out. I know that you're very close, but it's okay. We are still maintaining the necessary, 6 foot of distance. This is social distancing at its best through a computer screen. If you are new here, okay, hey. What's up, good people? Welcome to my channel. I am doing today's video in response to some requests, okay? On my last video, I asked you guys, well, what do you want to learn? What do you want to perfect while we're chilling, sitting around in the age of Miss Rona? And we are going to learn brows. We're going to talk about brow shapes. We're going to talk about face shapes because the two go together. And then I'm going to do some brows on my face. I'm also going to wear the kind that I usually do. So we're going to do a couple sets of brows today, all right? If you would like to see this video, if you would like to see what your face shape is or what mine is, then stay tuned. And of course, be safe, social distance, stay away from each other as much as possible. So that we can flatten the curve and be able to, walk around hand in hand outside, with strangers. Because isn't that what life is about? Holding hands with strangers in public places, just willy-nilly, 3 feet between you, living dangerously. Oh, girl, I can't wait. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and let's hop into the video. Okay, so let's talk about brows and face shapes. And, brows are so important, and I don't know if we've always known how important they were, like before everybody named Mama started wearing like grown makeup in the real world, but I think you can always tell when someone has done something to their brows. Now, whether it was executed well or executed not so well, like what was that in like the 80s and the 90s where we were cutting off all the brow hair and like tattooing it in, or worse, when you would just draw it in with a black pencil. That's a no. Black is too dark. It's too dark for most people's faces, okay? Unless you are a very deep toned woman, as in of the African American or East Indian, or let's see, Aboriginal Australian. If I've missed your group, please don't get mad at me in the comments, or do get mad at me in the comments and get me some engagement. Yeah, just those people. Unless you are of a much deeper skin tone, you should never be using a jet black pencil. Not for your whole brow. Like, never, sis. All right? Let's talk about tools, okay? So there are a number of different kinds of brow products, okay? There are, let's see if we get my stuff out, okay. There are tools to shape and define your brow. Things like a double-ended brush like this. You've got a spoolie on one end and then a pointed flat brush, often very dense at the end. You can use this with cream products and sometimes with a liquid product if you have that. But you use a spoolie just to, shape your brows in the direction you want them to go. There are also tools like this, they're pretty much like I hate to say face blade, but that's the best way to describe it. It's pretty much a razor blade in a cute little like plastic holder, and you can use this and or tweezers, which I never use because I'm so bad at tweezing anything except a runaway hair. But I like this because it removes unwanted facial hair, period, as in like, peach fuzz, and also upper lip, as long as you keep it clean and your skin clean and some kind of oil in between your skin and the blade. It's good to have something to slide on. But using this on your brows is also good. I use this already to kind of return my brows to the pre-corona state when I saw my brow girl last, which is, we're gonna have the best reunion, I don't know if she knows, but I've just been thinking about her. Like, I miss her. Kelly Janae, I miss you and your wax. I miss you. My brows do too. But yes, you can use this to kind of trim any extra hairs that are growing out, both at the top and the bottom. Use very sparingly. You can also use this to shape the brow if you have let it go too far and you need to bring them back in, okay? But this is best if you already know the shape of your brow. If you don't know the shape you want, cutting can be dangerous, so it's always dangerous. There are also tools for filling your brows, okay? It's not uncommon for you to see a pencil like this, a very fine pencil. This one is from Makeup Pro, Revolution Pro. Yeah, Revolution Pro. This is I would say this is about drugstore level. It's double-ended and it comes with the spoolie, which is always helpful, and then the pencil on the end. It's kind of a dense pencil, and then you use a spoolie to brush up and direct your brows, okay? There are also brow pens, I guess, for lack of a better term. Okay, now this is kind of like a Sharpie for your brows. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade. And this is literally, it's a Sharpie for your brows. And this one happens to come with a pencil on the end. You also have products that are used just to prime or direct the brows and keep them in place. So you have brow gels that are clear, like Anastasia Beverly Hills. You have also Tinted Brow Gel. This is also from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Don't mind the packaging. I use her a lot. This is tinted. It's got a color to it, okay? The lip bar has something called a quick draw. This one has a pencil on one end, and then it has the Tinted Brow Gel on the other end. Other products to fill your brows include creams like the Anastasia Beverly Hills cream. ColourPop also has a version of this. Same, you know, purpose and application. But this one is, the formula is a little different. I actually really like this one, and the color is a little bit different, okay? It's also drugstore pricing. If you are using black in your brows right now and you don't take anything else away from this conversation, stop. Thank you for listening. Another great tool for anyone to have, and mine is charging right now, is a mirror, a lighted mirror or a magnifying mirror. This is from Simple Human. I really love this. It's got like a finger grip right here. It has a sleeve right here. It goes in there like that. It also is lighted. Mine needs to charge. That's why it's plugged in. And the last and most important tool in all of this is good lighting. If you have bad lighting, it's going to be really hard for anything you put on your face to look right, just because you can't see. Like, if you can't see, why do you think it's going to come out good? Why? Let's talk about face shapes, okay? So there are, depending on who you talk to, there are a number of different kinds of face shapes. And I'm going to insert like a little image right here. Maybe I'll put it here. First face type we're going to talk about is oval. Here's a picture of oval, okay? I believe that my face is actually oval. So it features a prominent forehead, prominent cheekbones, and tapers down to a point at the chin, okay? My cheekbones are, they're pretty prominent. I mean, you know, when they real prominent, but that's cheating. Next one is long, okay? And this one tapers more toward the chin, of course. It's much longer from forehead to chin though. Like it's like a much more elongated shape, like from the nose all the way down through the chin is gonna be longer than your average face, okay? And they also have a prominent chin, but not always, and not necessarily pointy, just it finishes out the elongated shape. Next, you have round, okay? Now for a round face, the face width and the face length are exactly the same, or they're almost the same, okay? Their widest point is at the cheeks, and they don't have a particularly prominent chin. It's not flat, but it's like, it's kind of the same shape all the way around. Next, you got square. So the forehead, the cheekbones, and the jawline, almost the same exact width, with the addition of a square, very square defined jaw, and then a pointy chin, okay? So you're gonna have same shape, same shape, same shape, and then you're gonna have a sharp cut in and then a point, okay? And even if you are not sure exactly what your face shape is, you can try out a few things to like confirm or deny, but with makeup and with everything else, you just go with what looks good, okay? If you feel that it flatters you, then you do it, okay? And if you wanna learn more, you try other things. That's pretty much the extent of it. No one will die if you do not have your right face shape, okay? Next, there is the heart shape. And I could also probably be a heart shape, but I'm pretty sure I'm oval. Strongly tapers to the chin. So it's a much sharper pointed chin than you would have on an oval. It also has a prominent forehead, okay? So not so much the cheekbones as a very sharp point and a prominent forehead. I don't think if you accidentally misdiagnosed your face, can you diagnose a face? Categorize your face. Again, not the end of the world. All right, and then a diamond, okay? Now, a diamond face is mostly angular and can sometimes appear like it's got very sharp features. They say bony, but I think bony is the wrong phrasing for it. It's that your features are prominent and they're very defined and they're very structured, okay? You have the widest part of your face is at your temples, and your temples is this part right here that kind of dip in that you feel at the points on the side of your face. That's your temple, the part that feels so good when you be rubbing it. Yeah, you feel the pressure lift and stuff. That's your temple. They're not as common compared to the other face shapes, but they exist because, you know, People exist, stuff exists, people got stuff, you know. And if your face doesn't fit any of these categories, that's cool too, okay? Okay, so let's talk about these brow shapes, all right? One thing I want to call out is that it's important to look at your eye and know where the barriers are, the guardrails are for your brow. Whether you're going to do a curved brow, an arched brow, a flat brow, with any of the brows we just talked about, okay? You need to know what your anchor points are, okay? So if you look at my face, I may or may not have written on my face. However, I wrote with something that I can take off. If you look at my face, I have a couple of markers for how you should be building this brow, regardless of the shape of the brow. So if I look at the point of my nostril, you can see a mark right there. And if I do a straight line from the point of my nostril straight up, I'm looking at where the head of my brow should start, or the general region, right? Because everyone's face is different. If you have a funny shaped nose, this might not work for you. Keep that in mind, okay? But this is where my brow should start. If I go too far in or too far out, it can make my face look too wide or too narrow. Now, if that's a look you like, you know, please yourself. But I'm cool with what my face wants to do naturally, if you know what I'm saying, okay? So this is my straight line. Now, the next point, the next touchstone is the arch. The highest point of whatever brow I want to do is considered the arch, even if it's not super arched. That's this next point right here. Now, getting from here to here is about going literally a straight line diagonal from my point on my nose through what looks like the middle of my iris, the middle of my eye, to my brow, okay? So if I do this, I look straight at you. This is going to go right through the middle of my eyelid, okay? My eye, pupil, not eyeball. That would sound graphic. Okay, so that's the highest point, or the general vicinity of where the highest point should be. Sometimes you see people with their point all the way here, rather, they see it here, or you see it way out there. And depending on where you put it, it can either make your face look wider, or it can make your eyes look sadder. If my point is way out here, and I draw my brow all the way out here, it drags my whole face down. I know you've seen this. You may even have done it and been like, I want to fix it, but I don't have time because it took me 20 minutes to do my brows already. Brows take time, and I understand if you decided to let it go for the day. Third point, last point, which I'm sure you can guess, is the farthest that your brow, this is the head, I guess that's the foot, the point, the knee, I don't know, the farthest point of your brow, okay? That's what this third point is, all right? And you get this by taking this straight line, you bring it here like on a clock to my second point. My third point is wherever the point on my nose and the outer corner of my eye are on the same line. This is like geometry. Geometry is functional. Don't let anybody tell you different. You will use it again. Make good choices. I say that a lot, and I feel like sometimes people listen, but I know there's somebody out there that's like, I'm gonna make me some bad choices. I know you're out there. I seen you walking around. I seen you with your S-shaped brows. So with what I've already done on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and do the normal kind of brow I would normally do, okay? And for me, that is a combination of a cream and a pencil, all right? So I'm going to use my ColourPop brow cream and my Revolution Pro pencil, all right? And I'll just do the normal brow that I would do using these markers, all right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush them up. I brush up, especially if they're shaped, okay? If they're not shaped, or if there are a few brows that you know that are running away, then you can take your spoolie and just kind of drag it across the top just to make sure, kind of wherever your point is. My point's here, the arch is there. I'm gonna drag my spoolie down right here just to catch anything that's running away, all right? And make sure that in general, this is the shape that I am aiming for, okay? Next, I'm gonna go in with my brow pencil, right here, in a color that is as close to my hair color as possible. You can choose make a creative choice and choose a lighter color if you think it brightens up your face. You could choose a darker color if you may blonde hair or red hair or purple hair if you don't want purple brows. Totally your choice. But do your best not to go too dark because it can look really stark on your face, okay? So I'm gonna start with the pencil, and I'm going to start by lining the brow up. I'm starting at the bottom with soft strokes, and I'm just shaping this brow to what I want it to look like. So I made a straight line from not the innest, not the head, but like a little in from the head, because I don't want the brow to be heavy on the inside of my face. I want it to be nice and light and natural-ish, okay? And I'm just inside the line of the hairs. So I'm not below them, and I'm not too far above them. I'm just inside the line of the hairs. If you want to change the shape of your brow or make them thicker than they are, then you can draw outside. But keep in mind, the lower that you go, the more of your eye you're just erasing, okay? You're making your eye smaller the lower you go, okay? So if you're gonna add volume to your brow, add it on the top, not on the bottom, okay? So I'm drawing a straight line from here to here. It's a very light line, it's just a guide. And then for me, I continue this straight line all the way out to the outer edge of my brow, just so that I know my line is straight, okay? And then I'm going to come where the arch is, my second marker, and I'm going to start drawing an arched line, kind of a slightly curved line, again, just inside the brow, the hairline, to the point that we marked out, okay? So you can see I've got a very subtle guideline to work with, okay? And I'm just going back so that I can see that. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush. You can use the brush on the end of the pencil or whatever. I'm just going to brush that up just a little bit, because when you brush, what you do is you kind of blend what you've already put in your brow further into the brow, okay? So you don't have harsh lines. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to start at the top, all right? Again, just inside the line of the hair. And if you have thick brows and you can't see, or if you have a bunch of runaway brows, you can take this and just kind of like brush them down a little bit so you can see where you want to be. I'm going to start at the same place I started on the bottom. And I'm going to do another straight line. Okay. And when I get to the point right here, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to look at it, okay? If it doesn't look right, change something. If it's too high, if it's too low, if it's too heavy, you can always go blend that in. But just make sure that that is what you want your brow to look like, okay? Now here's where your decision point comes in. You can either curve this, or you can make a point, or you can make a squiggly. It's totally your choice. I would support either a point or a curve, okay? For this brow, which as you can see from the bottom, I'm going to curve it instead of arch it sharply. I'm going to go ahead and curve the top. I'll do a pointed one on the other side, and pointed brows often lend themselves to looking a little bit straighter. Not always, but sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I've gotten to my decision point right here, and I'm going to curve down to meet that third anchor, okay? Curve down, nice straight line. Come down, meet my anchor. I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to fill in the end of my brow with strokes, like brush-like strokes, okay? Light strokes. I'm going from the base of the hair, like wherever my line is, I'm going from the base of my hair and I'm flicking up, okay? Flicking up in whatever direction I want my hair to be going, which on this side is mostly upward or upward at an angle, okay? And you just keep going until you fill the brow. So that is the foot knee of my brow. Please ignore the the markers because they're there for you. But yeah, that's the shape that I'm aiming for with my brow. And at any point that I feel like it looks too dark or there's too much, I go through it with my spoolie. Or if I just want to blend, and I'm going to use my spoolie to kind of make it be a little less strong. Now, for me on this side, this is my struggle brow. I tend to go a little stronger, a little heavier when I press, a little bit more of the strokes because I don't have any hair right here from a previous accident that we don't need to talk about. As a matter of fact, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. But anyways, there's less hair over here. So I put a little bit more emphasis on it. Then I have to remember to equal that emphasis over here where I actually have hair. Anyways, my problem, not yours. Now, my next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brow gel, okay? I'm gonna take my brow gel on my brow pen, my brush, and I'm going to get, I'm not actually gonna get a lot. Like I do a back and forth kind of sweep like that. And then I use my cap, which you can see, and I kind of wipe some of the product off so that, do a back and forth again, I'm kind of pressing so that I get a very, very like pointed surface to work with, because I'm going to go in and I'm going to do essentially the same thing I did on this side, but with a lighter color with a different texture. You could also do this with a different color pencil, but I don't think I have one at this very moment. So I'm going to use my gel. All right. And I'm going to take the gel and I'm going to go just inside the hairline, that line of hair, and I am going to create a line just like that. Okay. I'm going to brush it up. And then I'm going to pause. And I'm going to look at it. Right now what I've got is I've got a subtle darkness at the bottom, and then it's lighter at the top, which tends to look a bit more natural. If you'd like to be a little bit more intense, you can use your brush. You may or may not need more product. I'll go ahead and get a little bit more. And you can give yourself some brush strokes, okay? So it looks like individual hairs. Okay. And when you get to the top, for the kind of brows I like, you can go ahead and feather a little bit because I want it to look like hair. All right. And then where you meet, where the gel product and the pencil product meet, just feel free to go over it just a little, just so that they come together pretty seamlessly, okay? And then lightly with your brush, because the gel sometimes comes off a little easier, just kind of give it a couple of strokes straight up, okay? All right. And that's the brow that I would go for. Cleaning up your brows is a whole other conversation, okay? Some people like to clean it to the point where you've got like a halo around your whole eye. You can do that with concealer 9 times out of 10. I don't like the halo, but it's sometimes a little bit, sorry, I'm mixing up my concealer. Sometimes it's unavoidable if you only have one color concealer, but the way to get around that is to use your lighter color concealer underneath your brow and your foundation at the top to smooth it out, to actually clean it up. And then you can do your lighter color concealer when you do your contour and highlight if you choose to do that. But I would say that at the top of the brow, go with something closer to the skin color up there. Don't go with something super bright or you get them halo ashy looking eyes that people be having. And I be wanting to say something, but I think I'm not allowed to. I think there's like a girl law where you're not allowed to say something. But I tell my friends. So if you're my friend, I've probably told you. Now, for brushes for cleaning up your brows, let's talk about the good brushes. This is a great brush. It's curved at the top. I believe that it is a Sephora brush that has natural fibers. It doesn't have to be Sephora, but it does need to be kind of a dense brush. And this shape does help, okay? That's what that shape looks like. Half dome, really nice. And, you know, she's got some oomph to her, okay? So I'm gonna take a little bit, a teeny bit concealer through here. Okay, not a whole lot. Don't want a lot. I want to start small. Okay, and I'm going to start at the straight lines because that is where I'm most comfortable. I'm pretty much taking this right underneath the pretty arch that I just created. Okay. Okay, now that's just a guide. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to wipe off some product. And I'm going to blend that in, blend it down, blend it wherever, so that it's not a harsh line, but it's an effective line. And if you need more for some reason, if you had a much more wild experience with your brows than you plan to, then you can add more, okay? But I always start with a little bit because I don't want to do so much that I can't take it back, okay? If you can't take it back, you are stuck with it, and I don't want to be stuck with it. All right, do the same thing. Do a little pass through on the hand. All right. And actually, I probably should have prefaced this. This is going to be a natural-ish brow that is sculpted rather than the dramatic brows that a lot of folks do where they're like real big and just they're a lot. That's not my kind of brow. If you came in for that brow, I don't have it for you. And now at the top, I'm going to do the same thing. follow the shape or correct the shape depending on how my life has gone. And if your point is just completely unruly, this is a great time to adjust your point. You bring your foundation down or make the concealer go up. Whatever works for you. I'm going to wipe off my excess. I'm going to go back and do a little blending motion. At this point, you can put on your tinted brow gel if you would like to add more depth to the brow, or if you want to add more color to the brow, you can totally put on a tinted brow gel. I would choose a regular clear brow gel at this time because this brow looks like I want it to look. If, for example, my brows were looking still kind of thin and I didn't want to go back in with more of the gel or the pencil, I can use the gel cream. All right, and with the brow gel, I'm just, again, brushing through them so that they are where I want them to go. So at the front of my brow, I'm brushing up, because that's my intended direction, and then right about at the same point that I started using the pencil, I'm pushing my brows outward toward the end of this brow. Okay, y'all, these are some of the most perfect brows I think I've ever had. They're not perfect, but they are exceptional. Now, perfection is an illusion because it doesn't occur in nature. However, that doesn't mean we can't enjoy it right now as I'm putting stuff away and restacking things. Ignore me. I am going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'll be using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer and my Urban Cover Dream whatever foundation from CoverGirl. And all right, so this is the whole face. I might have gone a little overboard with the lip, but I started thinking about it, and then I started playing with it, and then it just kind of like, it took this turn, so I'm gonna need you to roll with me. I could go nude, but like, once it's blue, like, what else can you do? What else can you do that's exciting and fun and that, you know, revs you up a little bit? It's blue. Like, come on, come on, come on. I did that. I did that, blue. I did that, okay? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Question of the day. Do you have a favorite brow product? Is it a cream? Is it a gel? Is it a powder? Is it a tattoo? Do you shave it off? Tell me down in the comments. If you don't do anything, you could say you do nothing. And if there's anything else you want me to show you, shout me out. Comment below. Comment below. Comment below. Comment below. Comment below.